It's so wonderful to be here with you and to be moving together. Let's start on our backs with something underneath your head and then have an assortment of props nearby, whatever you use, rolled up towels, blocks, definitely have your strap. And then coming onto your back. From your back, the first thing you want to work on is having a neutral pelvis. So a neutral pelvis is when your tailbone tilts down to the floor and you feel the slight lift of your waist. Let's say when your waist lifts up, you also feel your rib cage lift up. You want to try to keep your waist up since your pelvis is in neutral, but relax your ribs down. And if you're unable to relax your ribs down without pulling your pelvis out of neutral, then putting a little something higher, like a blanket underneath your shoulder blades, maybe something a little bit higher under your head will be helpful. But for everything we're doing right now, we're going to try to work with the pelvis in neutral, the tailbone tilting down rather than lifting up and the waist flattening. So extend your left leg long. See how far in, you can have your strap nearby too. See how far in you can bring your right thigh without your pelvis tucking under. So tailbone stays down and you're trying to see over time, can you draw your thigh in a little more? Now, it may be that you don't have the hip flexion to bring your knee in without tucking your pelvis under so that you can reach your leg. So then you could wrap the strap around your leg and try to pull it in a little bit further. And this also allows you to work on another thing. So one is hip flexion, getting your thigh in closer. And two is knee flexion, seeing how comfortable it is. Like, is your lower leg away from your thigh, or can you pull your lower leg closer into your thigh? So you start to see where, either one, I'm unable to get my thigh in very close without my tailbone tucking under. So then you know you'd have to work on hip flexion, or two, there's no way my lower leg wants to come in closer to my thigh, so therefore you would have to work on knee flexion. And that doesn't all have to make sense now, but we're just kind of breaking down the parts to see what we need to work on. And while you're here, work on dorsiflexion, so flexing your ankle into that 90 degrees actively. And breathing here. And let's switch legs. So extend your right leg long, bring your left knee in. Again, we're trying to do so without the back. One way you know your pelvis is tucking under if the back of your thigh lifts up. So wrap the strap maybe around your shin and see, can you pull your thigh bone in closer without the back of your thigh lifting up? And when I first would try to do this, as soon as I pulled my thigh in, my pelvis would tuck under. So it's showing you that you don't have pure hip flexion, and what's happening is instead of moving at your hip, your spine has to compensate and do some of the work. And you don't have to put all these pieces together and know in your mind all of that. But that's why I'm breaking down these pieces for you, and you want to try to find the boundaries as much as you can. So if that means that your thigh is out here, and that's as far as you can bring it in without your pelvis tucking under, then that's all that you want to bring it in. You want to just try to move at your hip. Because this is what's happening all the time in the body. If one area doesn't have a range of motion, you're moving more in another area. And on the opposite side of that, if someone has areas of their body that have extreme range of motion, there's other areas of the body that are not moving very much. So we're trying to figure out what's moving and what's not moving. Okay, and then again, check on not only your thigh coming in, but can your shin come in really close, maybe even touch the back of your thigh, or no way? Is that uncomfortable? Does it become uncomfortable in your knee joint? So you know that your body's not ready for it if it becomes uncomfortable in a joint. And then flex your ankle here and actively flex. Try to feel like you're pulling the top of the foot back towards your shin. And notice if that becomes uncomfortable in your joint. And then of course we're breathing here. We're just settling into our practice, just starting to move. Okay, release that strap. Bring the soles of your feet together, your knees open. Bring them in as close to you as you comfortably can. Maybe some support. I have a couple rolled up towels that I'm just gonna stick under. You can stick them under your shins, your knees, your thighs. If you need support higher up, let those thighs drop open, tilt your tailbone down. We're gonna slowly scoot our feet away from us in increments, so keep them close to start. Reach your right hand into the air, your palm facing away from you. Pull back gently on just the pinky finger, then let the wrist flip down. And hand goes back up, pull back on just the ring finger, and then the wrist flips. Hand goes back up, pull back just on the middle finger, and then the wrist flips, and then pull back gently just on the pointer finger, and then the wrist flips, and then the thumb goes out to the side and back, and then the wrist flips. Now, a lot of times we just kind of cycle through these pretty quickly. Sometimes we might hold a little bit longer, but if when you start load bearing on your arms, meaning you start getting onto all fours, after a pose or two, you're just starting to realize, ooh, my wrist, then you would want to do these stretches more often and probably hold them longer. You could even hold each finger for 30 seconds to a minute, gently stretching out the palms of your hands. Okay, scoot your feet a little bit farther away from you. This is 2, we're gonna do 3 and 4. So you don't wanna go too far too quickly. Feel free to move your support down. Left hand goes up in the air, shoulder, elbow, wrist in line. Turn the palm to face away from you and then pull back just on the pinky finger and then gently bend the wrist back. And pull back just on the ring finger and then gently pull the wrist back. And then pull back gently on the middle finger and then the wrist and then the pointer finger and then the wrist, and then the thumb pulls down and back, and then the wrist, and breathing here. And letting your breath flow. Yeah, so not only are all of these moves just good for our body, for prevention, for taking care of ourselves, I mean, all the issues you can think of that are going on in our culture, all of these things are helping prevent them, but they're also all tools to see what you need to work on more in your body so that you can feel better and better with the way you're moving throughout the day. All right, release that finger, slide your feet farther away from you. A little bit goes a long way. Feel free to adjust supports and then ring your arms up into the air. If your arm bones tend to lift out of the socket, drop them down and rotate your arm bones all the way one way, all the way the other way. And if it's very easy for you to do it quickly, try to go a little bit slower through the ranges of motion. And then as you rotate, your arms move out to the sides. And then work your way back up. And again, don't be in a rush. All right, and then with our legs, last one, slide your feet farther away. So your legs are closer to straight, but not yet, because your knees are still dropping out to the side. Try to relax around your hips. Now with your arms in the air, palms face away from you, touch your thumbs, and then open your pinky fingers to the floor. Feel your upper back and chest get wide. Next time your hands come together, turn your palms to face each other and open and close. So it's like you're clapping every time your hands come up into the air. All right, how about turning your palms to face behind you? And now your thumbs come down to the floor as you open and close your arms. All right, next time your arms are open, lift your legs up nice and slowly. Put a bend in your knees. Think of tilting your tailbone down. Sometimes it helps to even keep your hand on your pelvis here. Bring your right knee up off or your foot up off the floor and try to extend your leg as straight up as you can. And one thing you can notice here as you bend and extend, when you extend, does your leg have to go forward? So that's also showing that, the hip is having an issue staying fully involved. So if that's the case for you, if your leg goes way forward, maybe grab a block or a pillow or something, put it under your hips. That might help a little as your knee goes in to get your leg a little bit straighter up into the air. Stretch long, flex the ankle. Try to, when you bend in, bend the knee all the way, bring the lower leg closer to the back of the thigh. All right, let's switch legs. Put that foot down, bring your other knee up. Start with your lower leg close in and extend. Try to go straight up as possible and bend. Extend and bend. Extend without force. Flex the ankle and bend. Extend and bend. Extend and bend. Okay, with something under your hips or not, how about extending both legs up into the air, flex your ankles deeply, and then from here, try to keep straightening the legs as you rotate the thigh bones, turning them out and turning them in. And just going side to side here and stretching the legs as straight as you comfortably can. It's been a while since we've done this one. Reach up. Always take a break when you need to. All right, bend your knees, place your feet flat. If you have something under your hips, scoot it out. Walk your legs long, walk them over to the right. Flex your ankles, maybe cross your left ankle over your right ankle. Reach your arms overhead. If they don't easily come to the floor, grab a block and put a block underneath your hands, and then walk your arms a little bit over to the right. Breathing. Feel the left side of your body, your hip, your rib cage, your shoulder. Try to let it relax down, touching the mat. And then uncross your ankles, walk your arms and legs over to the left, keeping the right side of the body relaxed down. Either ankles together or flexed ankle. Cross your right ankle over your left ankle. Bring your right hand a little closer to your left hand. All right, uncross, walk your arms and legs back to center. Bend your knees and with your feet straight, walk your feet wider than hip distance apart, keeping the outer edges of your feet straight. And then let your thighs drop in towards each other. Now, if they're pretty far and there's no way they're touching, you can put a block or a pillow between your legs. But see if you're pretty. So for some people, the thighs just don't come in very easily. And for you, let your ankles lift up and do whatever you want to get this internal rotation, to get that stretch for your internal rotators. But for those of you who you walk your feet apart and your knees drop in pretty easily, can you keep the center of your heel down? So instead of rolling onto one side of your foot, keep the center of your heel down as your thighs drop in towards each other. And then your thighs won't come in quite as much, but it will be a more precise stretch for you, for those who are very mobile in this position. And then from here, with your arms by your sides, if you have stuff next to you, move it around a little, palms face up, and just sweep your arms up and down, hovering over the floor. And keep allowing those thighs to drop in. And again, if your knees don't come anywhere close to each other from the beginning. Let your heels roll so that your feet are not centered on the center of your heel. If you're one of those people, when you walk your feet far away, your thighs dropped in really easily, then try to keep the center of your heel grounded as your thighs drop in towards each other. We want to improve range of motion. That's really the first step. But then when you have the range of motion, you want to create a range of motion that's strong and not floppy. So that's really a lot of what we work on in that class is those two things. How can I get the range of motion in these parts of my body? And then how can I use them in a strong, stable way? Just getting range of motion is not the end game, because if you don't use your range of motion in a stable way, you also create a lot of issues in your body. And I know that speaking from experience. And very fortunately, I came to that conclusion before I created a lot of issues in my body. But I could see, based on observing other people's bodies and all of my training, that I was headed towards a body that had a lot more issues because of the way I was moving with my flexibility. Breathing. All right, from there, let your arms relax, let your legs come up, walk your feet into hip distance, grab your strap, doing some extra moves to warm up our hips today. Put the strap around the ball of your right foot, extend your left leg, untuck the pelvis, try to straighten the right leg as much as you can. Notice if your ankle tends to twist to one side or the other, untwist your ankle. It's almost as though the inner arch of the foot should be facing up and you shouldn't be able to see it. And then take the leg across the body without your right hip coming up. And you can just stay right there. Or if you can move without your pelvis tucking under or bending your knee, you can just pull your leg up and let it go back down a little bit. And we're just working into these side thigh muscles, which we are going to use for pelvic lifting in a little while. Pelvic lifting is our main movement that helps us to balance better. And it really plays a role in a lot of, that's not the way I want to say it. It plays a role in really keeping your body healthy in a lot of ways. All right, let's switch. Bring that right leg up nice and slowly. Switch legs. First is you want to work untucked pelvis, and then thigh comes up with leg as straight as possible. Take the leg across the body. Rotate if the ankle twists, like the inner arch twisting back for you. Turn the inner arch away from you as you pull back on the strap, and you can either just stay steady or move the leg up and down a little bit, as long as the knee doesn't start slightly bending or the pelvis doesn't start tucking under. And it doesn't have to be, it can be low. You can just move up and down low, or you can come higher depending on what your boundaries are. I'm tempted to say, these are just great muscles, but really they're all great muscles. Everywhere in the body is great muscles. And in some ways, it's really just one big muscle that all works together. All right, from there, bring that leg up, release the strap. And from here, we're going to bend our knees. If it's not comfortable to have something under your head for bridge poses, then slide it out. You want the outer edges of your feet straight. You want your ankles to walk back. They don't have to be like right up next to your buttocks, but about the front of your knee. Push into your feet and lift your hips up. Try to notice if you're clenching anything to extreme, try to let it go and go up and down a few times. Now what we're going to do is we're going to change. This is neutral with our feet straight, our ankles under our knees, our ankles hip distance apart. we're going to do bridge poses not in neutral. So we're going to change it up, and I want you to go slow and really just feel how it feels in your body. So how about keeping your feet hip distance apart, letting your knees drop in towards each other, and doing a couple bridge poses here. And if you find any of these variations discomfort in your joints, then just don't do them, but realize, oh, this is something that I have to come back to and work on so I have these ranges of motion in my body. Okay, how about bringing your knees to hip distance and opening your knees wider than hip distance and still trying to push down through the center of your heels while you lift up and down into bridge poses. Or you might discover, ooh, I can feel my muscles in a very different way here. You know, maybe I need to do some of these variations more often. All right, how about with your feet hip distance apart, you pigeon toe your feet a little bit. And now you're keeping your knees hip distance apart, but your toes are slightly turned in. And go nice and slow. How about turning your feet slightly out to the side and pressing down through the center of your heels as you lift and lower your hips? Maybe you find that one angle is more challenging than the other. It's harder to keep your body stable. Your body moves around, or it feels a lot tighter. All right, next time your hips come down, turn your feet back to straight, cross your left ankle over your right knee. So you've got this number 4 stretch. Keep this shape and just roll the sole of your foot towards the floor. And if it doesn't reach there with ease, you can stick a block or a towel under there and take a few breaths here. So the purpose of neutral, which we've come into over and over again, you hear me say feet straight, ankles hip distance. We do want to keep coming back there because this is training our body to use our muscles in a certain way. But the bigger picture of that is after we've gotten that neutral alignment and we've built stabilization and range of motion around our joints in a balanced way, then we want to be able to move always. We want our ankles to be able to roll in and our ankles to be able to roll out and our feet to turn out and our feet to turn in. When you're walking outside in nature, push down through your right elbow, lift your legs up, hip distance apart, cross your right ankle over, flexing your ankle, and then keep the shape of your body as you roll the sole of your foot either down to a block or the floor. If you're walking out in nature on grass and rocks and dirt and sand, your ankles are going to turn all different ways and your knees are going to go all different ways. You want them to move in a range of motion that is healthy for your body, not too much and not too little. I hear people all the time saying, oh, I have this pattern of rolling to my inner ankles or rolling to my outer ankles, which is great that you notice that, but it's not bad to roll to our inner or outer ankles or inner and outer hands or whatever it may be. We want to move in all those ways, but we don't want to have a pattern of being stuck. And I think that that's what people understand, is that their body is stuck going into this range of motion. Take another breath here. But interestingly enough, that if your body, push down through your left elbow and unwind, is going into that range of motion, let's go ahead and lift our right leg in. You can keep your left knee bent. You're going to come into like a one leg squat. Bend your knee out to the side a little bit, lift your lower leg up. And actually, let's bend that knee in close. So one leg squat is going to bend it in closer. Flex your ankle, maybe extend your leg long, your bottom leg long. And actually lift that leg up, sorry. Don't have to come into deep knee bend yet. And then point and flex your ankle. I'm trying to say too many things at once. So if you roll to the inner edge of your foot all the time, let's say that, that actually means that that's probably not a stable movement for you. So ironically, you want to get to a place where you can walk on the inner edges of your feet, but it's in a stable, controlled way. Okay, how about a little twist of your ankle side to side? And if your ankle twists very easily, you want to work very slowly. And if your ankle doesn't twist very much at all, then you're just trying to get the motion to start out with. All right, let's switch legs. Bend that knee, extend the leg, bring the thigh in. You don't have to bring the lower leg closer, lift it up into the air, flex your ankle, and first point and flex. And to squat well, we need deep dorsiflexion. So both of these are actually flexion, but when you're in a 90 degrees, it's dorsiflexion. So give a little bit more focus to that dorsiflexion. And then next time you're there, twist your ankle slowly side to side. All right, from there, keep that leg in. Bring your other leg in to meet it. Tailbone tilts away from you. Draw those thighs in as close as you can. Lift your feet up. And then flex your ankle. And we're actually going to bring our feet down so they're in line with our knees. And draw your thighs in. And of course, you could use a strap here. And breathing. And it's just pretty much like you're holding a squat on your back. Flexing your ankles. Your knees are bending. Your thighs are coming in closer to you. Maybe you can feel while you're here what feels tense. Is it your outer hips? Is it your inner thighs? Is it the backs of your legs? Do you feel like the front of your legs feel really tight? So all of this can give you clues into what areas you want to focus on more often. Breathing. And then bring your legs in and rock yourself up or roll to one side. Put your feet flat, outer edges of feet straight. And then from here, with your arms reaching forward, try to rotate back so you're on your tailbone. Push down into the feet. Feel like your thigh bones are drawing into as you rotate your pelvis upright. So you're trying just to rotate your pelvis here to the best of your ability. Next time you rotate your pelvis up, try to walk your right leg in as close as you can without your pelvis rotating back. So keeping the pelvis upright, can you scoot your thigh in and foot in closer to you? And then extend your left leg and flex that ankle. Never forcing anything. And then slide that foot back out, rebend your knee, and some more pelvic tilts here. Pushing down into your feet, actively feeling your legs draw back into your pelvis. And now try the opposite leg. Try to keep your pelvis in the upright position. How far can you slide your leg in towards you? And then extend your other leg and flex. And you can kind of use your body a little bit to help your pelvis come upright, seeing what's working and what's not working. Can your knee come in really close to your body? Can your lower leg come in really close to your thigh? So if your thigh can't come in close to your body, or your pelvis is rocking back a lot, then that's hip work. If your lower leg can't come in really close to your thigh, then that's working around the knee joint. Good. And then from there, step that foot out a little bit, rebend the knee, roll yourself over, come on up onto your knees, spread your thumbs out towards each other, wrap your elbow pits forward, relax your tailbone, relax your belly so your tailbone is in the air, and rhomboid push-ups, letting your spine drop down between two straight arms. and lifting up and feeling your upper back spread. And all of these principles that we work on in a rhomboid push-up are the same things we want to work on when we're in a downward facing dog. So our belly relax, so our thigh bones can go back and our tailbone can go in the air. We're keeping this lift to our ribs and not letting them sink down, and then wrapping our elbow pits even if they don't come all the way forward. And then breathing, of course. All right, tuck your toes under, sit back a little. You're going to bring the back of your hand to the mat, but if you just put the back of your hand to the mat, most of us, our elbow pops out to the side. So I want you to first turn your elbow pit forward and then try to just turn your forearm and put the back of the hand down with your elbow pit facing forward. Nothing aggressive. And then do the other hand. So start with your arm off the ground, rotate your elbow pit up, try to just turn your forearm down, and then lightly put your wrist down, or the back of the hand down rather, with your elbow pit facing forward. All right, from there, come back onto all fours. Thumbs spread out, elbow pits wrapped, top of the rhomboid push-up. Stretch your right leg back, tuck your toes under, press back through the heel. Try to feel from the big toe to the pinky toe side of the foot. Keep working on the upper body. Ramp the back of the head gently towards the ceiling. Lift and tap. Lift and tap. Straightening that leg as much as you can. Lift and tap. Lift, hold, reach back, move the leg from side to side. Keep stretching the leg long from the top of the thigh. Breathing. And then put that knee down. Extend your opposite leg back, tuck under toes, check in. Did elbows go out to the side? Did ribs drop down? Lift up. Did back of the head hang? Lift up through the back of the head. Breathing here. And then lift, keeping the leg straight and tap. Lengthen through all sides of the thigh and tap. Lift and tap. Lift and tap. This time lift, hold just the height of your hip and side to side. Take your time. Keep stretching that leg long. Check in with any part of the upper body that you know you tend to lose. Press down equally through the palms of the hands. And then bring that foot down, put that foot down, put that knee down. Walk your knees a tiny bit wider than hip distance apart. Tuck your toes under as much as you can. And then you're going to sit your hips back as you bring your forearms down. You can bring your hands together. Really try to relax your belly so your tailbone stays high in the air. Keep the feet steady, tucked under, and just forward and back here a little bit. So working on that deep hip flexion, that deep knee flexion. Breathing, feet steady. So let's say that for you, it's hard to get your toes tucked under, like you can't get to the ball of your foot here. That's part of that is missing dorsiflexion in the ankle. And it might seem like not the most fancy work to roll a ball under your foot more often and to really work on the mobility of your foot and your ankle by working on your lower leg. But if you do, and you get this motion back in your body, it will change all of the motions you do. It will change everything you do all day long, all the activities you do. If you need your body for more strenuous movement, it will significantly help. Okay, if your knees are not hip distance apart, come to hip distance. Go ahead and hinge back from your hips. And then from here, you can walk your hands back. You can keep your hands forward. You're just stretching the bottom of the feet a little bit more. If your toes really don't tuck under, put your knees up on something higher. But how about you could lift one knee at a time off the floor to try to roll back and get a little bit more stretch along the back of the foot. You can sit all the way back. So this is a good one to do more often if your body allows you to. You can even lean back onto your feet, listening to what works for you. So this one for me felt pretty good today, where I lifted one knee at a time off and roll back, getting into my inner arches a bit, the bottom of the feet. Breathing. All right, and then come on up onto your knees. Step your right foot forward into a low lunge, pubic bone forward. So if that dorsiflexion is an issue for you, chances are that you want to go here a lot when you're in a lunge, when you want to work more often with your ankle in dorsiflexion. Palms face forward, elbow pits forward. Lift the arms up without lifting the ribs and pull straight back. And lift up. And pull straight back. Lift up, pull straight back, lift up, pull straight back, and let's switch legs. So stepping your opposite leg back, maybe working with toes tucked under a little bit more, and arms rise and pull back. Arms rise and pull back. Two more like that. Elbow pits forward as you pull back. All right, from there, your back toes tucked under also helps get up off the floor. Try not to lean forward over time. At first, use your hands, let yourself lean forward. First step is not walking your ankle back behind your knees, so keep your ankle forward and then push down to step up. All right, from the top of the mat, let's do a calf stretch. Put the ball of your right foot up, your heel down, outer edges of feet straight. Ankles hip distance apart. Reach your arms forward as you sit back, bending both of your knees gently. As you stand up, pull your elbows back without thrusting the ribs forward. Ribs stay relaxed down and back. Sit back and pull back. Sit back. This should not feel any discomfort in your Achilles tendon or in your ankle joint at all. Pull back. Sit back. And pull back, sit back, and pull back. Keep a straight leg, maybe step that outside foot forward a little more, elbows by your side, open and close your arms. Breathing, letting the breath flow. All right, let's switch sides. Turn around, switch feet. Ball of the left foot goes up, heel down, outer edges of feet straight, ankles hip distance. Those two cues play a massive part in getting everything to start to work. Reach your arms forward as you sit back and pull your elbows back without thrusting the ribs forward as you straighten your legs all the way. And sit back. And stand up. Sit back and stand up. Sit back and pull back. Keep your legs straight, elbows by your side. Simply open and close your arms, palms flat towards the ceiling. Maybe you step your right foot forward a little bit. Relax any clenching around the legs. Breathing. All right, from here, step off that dome, feet straight, ankles hip distance apart, push down through your outer right hip, tuck the top of the left foot behind you. Now the first step to balancing better is hips over heels. So if your hips go forward, you want to back your weight up so you're on the heel of your standing leg. The next step, which is not for everyone, is everyone's pushing down through their standing leg hip, but for some people the hip goes out to the side unconsciously. If that's you, you're hugging your hip in. But the actual exercise is to move both out and in with control. So you're slowly letting your hip go out to the side and slowly pressing down, which is going to use all the range of motion that you need for balancing well, pushing down and hugging it. But you want to relax in a way that's not like this. So at first, I just try to get people to find some motion in their hip, but then over time, you want to work in a really controlled manner. The hip is slowly going out, so it's not just flopping out to the side, which is not good for your joints either. And you're pushing down and bringing that hip back in so it stacks over your ankle. Okay, release the top of your right foot, feet straight, ankles hip distance, push down through your left outer hip, tuck the top of the right foot behind you, or whichever side you were on, the opposite. And then with your weight back in your heels, slowly let that hip go out and push down and hug it. Now, if you don't have a lot of range of motion in your hips, you're trying to get your hip to go a little farther out as you push down and hug in. If you have a lot of range of motion like my hips do, you've got to go slower and more controlled so you're using muscle the whole way and not just sinking into your connective tissue, which creates a lot of problems in the long run. So it's a slow and controlled motion out and push down and hug in, stacking the joints. Slow and controlled out and push down and hug in. Okay, so now on a block, and if you have a soft block, that's okay. A hard block is a little more stable, or if you have a book, you can continue to do this on the floor. If you have a hip replacement, it's recommended you do it on the floor. But you're pushing down through one leg, your other foot floats up, and you're doing all of this in a controlled way on one leg. So sometimes being on the block helps you see a little bit more clearly what you're doing. Heel on the block, toes can hang off, edge of the foot straight. And then you're pushing down through your standing leg hip, eventually so high that your other foot ankle flexes and lifts above it, but then you're trying to slowly, with control, go out to the side and push down and hug in. And I don't have complete control yet. My hip just really wants to kind of go out to the side. So for me, it's a process of really going slow and feeling the muscle work along the outer hip. It doesn't take a lot of these to feel the work. Keep backing your hips up so your weight is back over your heels. Slow and control, slow. All right, let's switch sides. Heel on, outer edge of foot straight, toes can hang off, push down, hug that hip in, flex your other ankle, and then slow and controlled, press down and hug in. For the side, it's even harder for me to go slow and controlled. So I'm gonna try to slow it down even more. It's like I'm trying to not let my hip go out to the side, but I'm letting it go out a little bit at a time. And press down and hug it. Slow and controlled, out to the side, any amount. And press down and hug it. How about one more? Slow and controlled. Try to make sure you're moving from the standing leg hip and not moving from your hanging leg. And push down and hug in nice and slow. Good. Okay, we're going to come back to that. Step off the block, come up to the top of the mat, feet straight, ankles hip distance apart. From here, we're going to cross your right ankle, I'll face this way, behind your left ankle. Reach your arms up into the air, shoulder distance apart, and then you're going to bend over to your left and bring your right hand over, and just bring your right hand back up. Right hand over and back up. Right hand over and up. Right hand over and up. Bring your torso back up. Switch the crossing of your ankles. Left ankle behind. Reach your arms and bend over to the right. Then your left hand goes over and back up. Over and up. Over and up, over and up. Pull your torso up, uncross your legs hip distance apart, rotate forward from the pelvis, and once your hips are back over your heels, shift your hips a little bit side to side here. Breathing. You can work on feet straight, ankles hip distance. You can work on rotating your thigh bones into neutral and doing all of this movement with your thigh bones in neutral. And then let's sit back into a chair pose. You want to try to not let your knees go forward or your thighs to collapse in. But how about sitting with different variations of chair pose? Let's do one more neutral. Feet straight, ankles hip distance, where we want to work a lot to get our neutral. But how about pigeon toeing your feet and sitting back into a little chair pose here and feeling what that feels like? And do it again. And press up, go slow. Turn your feet out to the side a little bit. Sit back into a chair pose. And press up. And sit back. And press up. Turn your feet back to neutral. Sit back. Fold over your legs. Keep your right foot forward. Step your left leg back. From here, you can lower your back knee down or keep it lifted. Keep your torso leaning forward. Maybe lift your hands up off the floor. Arms go forward and pull straight back into the air. Arms go forward and pull straight back. Arms go forward and pull straight back. Arms go forward. This time bring your hands inside your right foot. Walk halfway around to the left. Parallel your feet. Back your weight up into your heels. Come up higher than halfway. So shoulders above the hips. Pigeon toe your feet. And then from here, you're going to just fold forward a little bit, backing your hips up, and come up a little bit. And push your hips back. And come up a little. Now with your hips a little higher, your feet turned in, how about lifting off your heels and lower down? Push into the balls of the feet, lift up, lower down. Challenging to do. Lift up, lower down, lift up, lower down. You've got to back your thigh bones up. That's what helps balance you. Turn your toes out to the side a little bit. When you turn your toes out, do your ankles roll out or in? Keep your ankles centered as you push your hips back a little and come up a little. Push your hips back a little, come up a little. Now push your hips back, hold, and try to lift up off the heels of your feet and lower. And lift, lower, lift, lower, lift, lower. And then turn your feet back to straight, back your hips up a little bit, thighs up. And then fold all the way down between your legs and walk back around to your right foot at the front of the mat. Plant your palms, step your leg back into a plank pose, elbow pits wrap, top of the rhomboid push-up, tailbone in the air, hips go up and back down dog. If your tailbone won't stay high, put a bend in your knees to get it higher. Elbows wrap in if you tend to collapse your ribs, lift them up slightly and go forward into a plank pose. And back into a down dog, and forward into a plank pose. Back into a down dog, checking all your alignment cues, using your body, and back into a plank pose. And then from there, lower your knees down, lower your forearms down, slide your right leg, then your left leg back. Curl your ribs up, keep your pelvis flat on the floor, Sphinx pose. Let your ribs go forward. Curl up. This is the action we want later when we do Cobra. Let them go forward. Curl up. Feel the breastbone lift up, forward. Curl up. Hold, breathing, pelvis flat. Front of the hips sinking down into the floor, but ribs and breastbone lifting up. And then let your torso go down. Bring your hands next to your chest. Instead of lifting from your chest and head, try to curl your ribs in first as you push away from the floor. and then tuck your toes under and walk back, stand up on your knees. You don't have to actually tuck your toes under there. Step your right foot forward and then push down through the back leg to step up. Feet straight, ankles hip distance apart. Reach your arms into the air, bend over to the right, cross your left hand behind your right hand, push down through that outer right leg. Let your left foot lift up, lift it out, and bring it in. Lift it out, and bring it in. Whew. Lift it out, bring it in, lift it out, bring it in. Bring those hands up, cross your opposite hand behind, lean over a little bit to the left, push down through that left outer hip, hug it in, weight back in the heel, flex your right ankle, and lift out and float down. Lift out, float down. Lift out, float down, lift out, float down. Bring that foot down. Switch the crossing of your arms. This time, cross your left ankle behind your right ankle. Try to place your feet flat and bend over to the right. Breathing. Come up, switch the crossing of your wrists, switch the crossing of your feet, and bend over to your left. Breathing. And come back up, uncross, come on up to the top of the mat. All right, from here, let's do feet turned in, pigeon-toed. Rotate the pelvis back. Little shift of the hips side to side. Nothing aggressive. Bring your hips to center, turn the toes out to the side, push the hips back. Shift side to side here. Come back to center, feet straight, push your hips back. Shift side to side here. Sit back into a chair squat. Bring your hands down. Left foot stays forward, right foot stays back. You can put your back knee down, keep your torso forward, or just lift your hands up off the floor. Elbow pits face forward, arms reach forward, and pull straight back. Arms reach forward, and pull straight back. Arms reach forward, pull straight back. Arms reach forward, come down inside your left foot, walk halfway around to the right, parallel your feet, weight back in the heels, come up higher than halfway, pigeon toe your feet a little bit, fold down any amount, and slowly come back up. Lift off your heels, lower down. Lift off the heels, lower down. Turn your feet slightly out to the side, go slow, but with legs straight, fold down any amount. Slowly come up, lift up off the heels, lower down. Lift up off the heels, lower down. Bring your feet back to straight. Rotate from the pelvis down. It's okay if the knees bent and the buttock sticks back. Walk back around to your left foot at the top of the mat. Palms flat, step it back to a plank. Thumbs out, elbow pits wrap. Top of the rhomboid push-up, tailbone in the air. Up and back down dog. Now it takes a little configuring of what are my arms doing now? What are my ribs doing now? What is my tailbone doing now? What are my feet doing now? And come back into a plank pose. And back to a downward dog. And sometimes if you're working on one thing, you might lose the other aspects, and that's okay. Just be aware of that. Like, oh, it's hard for me to focus on multiple things at once. What do I want to work on? Back up. But oftentimes if you're focusing on one thing and you notice you really lose something else, that's often something you have to work on more as well. And back into a down dog. Last one, come forward to a plank pose. Put your knees down, walk your elbows down, slide your left leg back, then your right leg back. Come onto your belly. This time, slide your hands back next to your chest. Thumbs point out towards each other. Elbows point straight up to the ceiling. Now, when you curl up into a cobra, it's common that people thrust their ribs forward. You want to keep your ribs curling into your body as you keep your pelvis and feet flat as you roll up. And roll back down. Curl your ribs in first. Roll up and roll back down. So if your ribs aren't curling in first, you're actually shearing your spine instead of bending your spine, which is not so good for the longevity of your spine. So ribs curl in. It's okay if you barely lift up off the floor and roll back down. Ribs curl in, roll up and roll back down. Ribs curl in, push yourself up onto hands and knees, and then walk back to your knees. Step your left foot forward, tuck your right toes under, and push down to step up. Okay, another block. So before we wrap up class, we're going to talk about going up and down stairs. So imagine this block is a stair. You're putting your foot on. If possible, you want your heel on the stair. People run up and down the stairs on their toes, the ball of the foot, but that uses the front of the leg and not the back of the leg. And you'll see most people going up the stairs that way. If your stair is long enough, try to get your heel on. And then when you push off, you're pushing off your back leg, lifting your heel up off the ground, pushing up off your back leg, and watching this front knee. Does it tend to collapse in? Does it tend to collapse out? Trying to keep it centered as you push down in pelvic lift to go up to the next stair. And then once you're on the next stair, then you switch feet. Your heel's on the stair. You lift off your back leg. Feel your calf muscles working. There's your natural calf raise. And you're pushing down and watching that knee and pressing up, pelvic lifting to come up. So what most people are doing, I shouldn't say most, but a lot because of modern culture, is one, their heel's not on. Two, their knee is for most people is collapsing in rather than out. Three, they lean forward a lot and pull themselves up the stairs rather than actually using the strength of their hip muscles to get up and the strength of the back of their leg by pushing off and pressing down through the hip. So you shouldn't have to lean forward and pull yourself up with a railing. Now, of course, when you're first practicing this, if you have a railing or a wall, please use it to stabilize yourself. It will help a lot. But let's do that one more time. Foot up, knee centered, lift up off the back leg, pelvic lift to go up, and then your foot goes up to the next stair. Pretend your foot's on the next stair. Lift up off your back leg, knee centered, push down to pelvic lift to step your next foot up. Okay, so let's go back for just a moment to the pelvic lift. Foot up on something. So the hugging in process is what you want for walking, for going up and down stairs to avoid feet problems, ankle problems, knee problems, hip problems. Not the going out portion of strength, but the pushing down and hugging in. This is what we use most often, the pressing down and hugging in to get the length in the muscles, to get force in the muscles, to get space in the joints. This part, and just feel free to switch legs with me as you'd like to, the hip controlled going out to the side is what we use when we're going downstairs or down a hill. We let our hip controlled go out to the side and we step our foot down. And what that does, that ability of your hip to move with control, takes the pressure out of your knee. And that's what you always hear is people get older, going up and down stairs bothers their knee. So you're lifting off the back foot, pushing down to go up the stair. And then to go down the stair, your knee might bend, your hip goes out to the side. So instead of your knee having to go way past your ankle joint, you have space in your hip to go out in a controlled way to put the next foot down on the step. If you Google, I don't know if there's a video that shows this, but if you can Google and show a horse going down a hill, you'll see their back legs do this. As they're going down the hill, their hip shifts to the side so they can step down. Their hip shifts to the side so they can step down. But it's not a floppy, it's a controlled, your hip is holding the strength as you step your foot down. Controlled, your hip is holding the strength as you step your foot down, takes the work out of your knees. Thanks for sticking with me through that. Let's come down into a squat. So go slow. If you don't make it all the way down, just go to where you can. If you can get all the way down, go slow with control. Don't fall. And then check what's going on. Do your feet have to turn out to the side? Do your ankles roll in or out? And it's hard to center them. Is it hard to get your hips and knees back without falling backwards? Is it hard to get your pelvis untucked slightly while you're here? Is it hard to extend your spine up a little bit? So you start recognizing what you need to work on in your squat. Come all the way down onto your buttocks. And then from your buttocks, let's sit with our ankles crossed. You can sit your hips up higher. Take a moment here. Let's stretch out our ears. Lift the tops of your ears up gently. Pull your ears out to the side gently. And pull your ears down gently. And then walk your hands forward. And walk back. Switch the crossing of your legs. Sit up tall in your pelvis, ribs relax down, hand to the center of the breastbone, pull down gently on the skin as you lift your chin up and move it around a little bit. Breathing. Nice and slow. If you don't move your neck around much, you want to do this a lot slower with a lot more caution. You can push your bottom jaw or your bottom lip or bottom teeth forward. And hinge forward. Walk your fingers forward for a moment. Walk your hands back. And bring your knees up and come all the way onto your back. Maybe something underneath your head. Give your knees a gentle hug into your chest. A little circle one way, a little circle the other way. And when you're ready, stretch your arms and your legs long. So, years ago, I took a bunch of foraging classes, and it was like a whole nother language to me. I mean, just learning about the trees and the plants in such detail, and it was kind of overwhelming because I was like, God, it's crazy that I live on this planet and I know so little about these things growing all around me. I felt the same way when I started studying human biomechanics, and I was already a yoga teacher at that point. If you feel that way, be patient with yourself. Be persistent. It's so empowering as the pieces start to come together and you recognize, number one, wow, I can heal a lot of things that have been going on in my body, patiently, persistently. And two, when new things start to pop up, as they're going to in everybody's body, because we live in modern culture, we're always doing different kinds of things or not moving enough, you have the skills to figure out how to not go down that path. So for now, just be content to be where you are. Let go of all of that. And for 1 minute, sink your awareness into your body, into your breath, with every bit of love and kindness and patience and support that you can come up with. Just feel your body with that energy. I support you. I love you. I'm going to be kind to you. Stay present with your breath and your body. What thoughts are keeping you from being present? What thoughts are keeping you from feeling content with who you are and what your circumstances are? What if, just for today, you decided not to let them take over? You allowed yourself to simply accept everything just as it is, just for today. Just for today. These 3 words can help create peace. You can add them to something you would like to experience or feel. For example, just for today, I will not worry. Just for today, I will not judge myself or others. Pick what it is you need. When you're ready to move your body, stretch out a little here, a little there. No rush. And then when you're ready, roll over to one side and pause on your side. Now, what if we keep saying just for today and pushing off what we need to acknowledge? If we think of things that way. When we're just worrying about something, when we're just judging someone and not taking any fruitful action, it's not helping us. So sometimes, just for today, putting that stuff aside and focusing on things that support our deeper well-being will make the solutions so clear and easy over time. Press yourself up to a comfortable seated position, bringing your hands to heart center in gratitude for this day. Namaste.